Just a bit buffer. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world today. Really excited to be joining you all and to be inviting three amazing speakers in the impact scene. This is the last of what has been 3 fireside chats over our amazing Jeju adventure, as you've been seeing in the back with Seoul Startups. And thank you all for taking your time to join today. Today we'll be talking about what's happening in Korea in the impact scene. We'll be covering all the latest trends, why impact is so important, and also how can the ecosystem players start taking their part from changing policies to making money. And I'm really excited to be joined by three amazing players in the ecosystem. Without further ado, I'd also like to bring a little conversation from Marta to the front. Marta, would you like to tell us a little bit about
Seoul Startups? Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Martha, and I'm one of the community leaders at Seoul Startups. Just like Christian mentioned, I would love to welcome you to this event. I think it's a very important discussion that we're going to have here. Seoul Startups is the biggest international startup community here in Korea. We build a global ecosystem here on the Korean tech scene. If you want to be part of this wonderful community of founders, accelerator representatives, investors, government representatives, anyone who's interested in the Korean tech scene, make sure to join us at the link that I'm about to send you right now. And I'll see you there. I hope you'll enjoy this event. So bye-bye.
Thanks, Marta. And yes, good evening, everyone. Just a few house rules before we get started. Welcome to Air Meet, our tour of the year in what has been, a big pandemic. If you haven't used Air Meet, please feel free to stick around after the main session. We have tables all set up, even with the speakers. So please feel free to join and mingle. We will also have our own seat, Seoul Startups, in the back if you want to reach out to us. Feel free to also ask questions. We have the question tab on the right-hand side. Anytime a question pops up, feel free to add it into the question tab, and I'll do my best within the time limit to address these questions. Don't forget, in the bottom, if you're on desktop, we have the reaction tab. Every time you like something we said, give us a little blue heart, or give us a clap, or a laughing face, whatever you feel. It always makes us feel great. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So joining us today are three amazing speakers within the impact scene in Korea. We have Anna Kang, who's a senior consultant at Merry Year Social Company, which is an impact startup accelerator and impact investor based in Seoul. Following, we have Yuneo Yi. She is a partner at the Ventures and Impact Collective, which is an online impact collective, being an online community-based accelerating program, and we'll look forward to hearing more on that. And finally, but not least, we have Amy Cho from United Nations Development Program, also based in Seoul. We have three amazing speakers who all have great experience within the impact scene in Korea, and really looking forward to helping share insights with you and just getting to understand what's been happening in Korea and beyond. So without further ado, I'd like to take the chance to introduce one of you to the crowd. So Anna, would you like to go first and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Anna Kang. I'm very thrilled to be on the stage today. And then thank you, Seoul Startups, and thank you, Christian, for having me today's wonderful session. And my name is Anna Kang. I am a senior consultant at Merry Year Social Company, MISC. So MISC is a impact startup accelerator and impact investor based in Seoul. And then so far, we have been investing in around 57 social enterprises and in social ventures in Korea. And also, we have been running different impact accelerator programs, partnering with different government ministries and sectors, ranging from marine and sports and art and culture, and also international development. So basically, we are looking for and identifying lots of different impact startups in different sectors. And also, we are typically reviews our investees and through different acceleration programs that we are running. And at the same time, I am working as a South Korea manager of Asian Venture Philanthropy Network. It's Asia's largest social investors network. So our members are ranging from corporations and foundation and impact fund and intermediaries who all are very interested in moving their capital towards social impact. So as a South Korea manager and as an ABPN representative, we are working as a facilitator and advocate to for helping them to use their capital more effectively, efficiently for social purpose organizations. So I'm very glad to meet you. I'm happy to share my past experiences and my case sharings with you guys today.
Thank you so much, Anna. Yunel, would you like to go next?
All right. Good evening, everybody. Uniel from Impact Collective and the Ventures. I'm a part of two wonderful organizations. So actually, the Ventures is early stage focused VC in Korea. So we accelerate and invest in post-seed or seed till pre-series A stage of the startups, and we have portfolios of around Asia markets, including Korea, with over 90 different teams so far. And the Impact Collective is a new initiative that the Ventures started from last year. And it's, obviously it's focusing on impact investment, and also we globally accelerate together with a lot of different partners who deeply engage with the program. So it's kind of like a virtual global acceleration and investment program driven by all the community members, ranging from daily consumers to startup advocates and impact investors and government agencies, all around of the impact ecosystem. The players are gathered and then sharing their insight and network to support wonderful Asia-based startups. And very interestingly, all three of us today are kind of linked with Impact Collective as well. So MISC is a part of Impact Collective initiative as well, and we closely worked with the UNDP and UFNA, the World Federation of UN Association, together to run the impact sessions and impact programs for the startups. And very happy to be here, and hope to get more insights and market voices from our wonderful audiences as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, yeah, it's a close-knitted but engaged community. It's great that we're all interlinked in some way. Thank you. Amy, would you like to?
Sure. So hi everyone. I'm Amy from UNDP Seoul Policy Center. Before I start, for some of you who may not be so familiar with what UNDP stands for, so it's United Nations Development Program, and we are also as we are all located across 170 countries worldwide. The UNDP Seoul Policy Center represents UNDP in Korea, and we try to mobilize Korea's good practices in development experience to connect with to sort of localize it and customize it into other countries' context. So and we work in this unique modality called several areas from sustainable forestry to gender-based violence, anti-corruption, and to engaging non-traditional development actors, namely like private sector and youth. And this is where my work area comes in. So I'm a youth policy and partnerships consultant in the office, and we are trying to mobilize some Korean private sector's expertise and their resources to accelerate the SDGs. And part of the actions that we do is definitely working closely together with some impact ecosystem stakeholders such as MISC and the ventures, and that's how we co-create the programs such as Impact Collective, and we not only do some upstream policy research and policy discussion work, but we also at the same time we try to build capacity of youth startups. So we try to make their business models more aligned with some impact, with creating more impact, and be more familiar with the SDGs per se. So I'm really honored to be here and to listen to some of you discuss on this. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. So
Great, thank you so much, Amy. So we have one from the social investment scene. We have one doing the impact scene online, and one changing how things work here and applying it to other developing nations. We have so much to cover in such little time, but let's just jump right into it. It's 2021. The pandemic is still not going anywhere. Things are getting better, but we have to take more care of the planet we live on. Carbon emissions are going up, and it's now more than ever the time to take things more seriously in what we do. And we hear impact, the word impact, on a daily basis, but maybe sometimes we don't have the time to actually chew it. So the first question I'd like to ask, just to kick things off, is what does impact mean to you from your experience? And why is it important? Why is it important in today's world? Why should we pay attention to impact? I'd like to start this question with Anna.
Yeah, sure. As Christian already mentioned, I think I think the world is experiencing definitely unprecedented era, and we're actually suffering from the COVID pandemic still, and also racial injustice, and then climate change and income equality, and that's just too severe. And I cannot even name all the different social challenges that we are facing now, right? But I believe here definitely we need an impact to address these social challenges. So impact means I believe it's social impact and environmental impact for sure. But at MISC, MYSC stands for Marry Your Social Company. So we are actually seeking the Marry Year, where no social polarization exists, and every human being and every nature can live a decent life. So that's actually the impact that we are pursuing at the moment. And also, MISC is focusing on creating social impact through business. So we are focusing on the business and entrepreneurs and corporations, and who has a power and a huge influence on environment on this planet. So, and these days, definitely lots of different corporations and impact startups, and they're really focusing on addressing social challenges and creating social impact through business and technology. So that's just I will just definitely share lots of different cases after our conversation, during our conversation today. But I'm really very thrilled with this change, and the impact has been mainstreaming these days, and I'm very happy to expand and also facilitate this change among business and major financial sectors as well. So yeah, so
Well, thank you for that insight. Yunel, would you like to jump in with?
Yeah, well, definitely, and that covers a lot of the points where the impact investors actually get in. Well, I think most of the startups are making impact in some way and in some ranges according to their business models and according to their activities to the market. So our impact, when we talk about impact within Impact Collective and the ventures, is more like a systemic impact and the collective impact that we want to give out, so that we can effectively, make a enough of sufficient of positive impact so that we can secure longer sustainability for the lives of Earth, the planet. So so that is the basic bottom line. So that's why we create the whole, partnership and working ecosystem, and the startup investment is really a good point to create the systemic change, because the market is actually living with us all the time, and the market is innovating right now through the startups who give out a lot of innovative solutions to the world. So we want to support them, and we want them to act very, at the front line of the whole market and business and industry, so that they can create the whole level of cultural collective impact to daily lives of the every corner of the world. So that's basically what we define the impact and impact activities for our organization.
Great, thank you. Sustaining life on this planet, thinking about future generations, all of that sounds really great. Thank you so much. Amy, would you like to, what does impact mean to you?
Sure. I guess all the important points are already well delivered by Anna and Uni. So just to add one more thing from UNDP's perspective, we have this significant phrase on which is like leaving no one behind. So that's like the main principle of behind the Sustainable Development Goals. I really agree with Uni on basically impact is like creating some systemic change, and also at the same time bringing in some collective intelligence to co-create some more sustainable environment, or like impact-prone environment. So in this sense, one of the initiatives that is run by UNDP is Youth Collab. It's like empowering. It's an initiative across Asia Pacific, trying to empower youth to be more economically empowered, and we do this through giving them skills training on entrepreneurship, or especially those who are in the early stage entrepreneurs, so that they are more they could have more capacity to tackle the development challenges on the ground. And so in this sense, I believe that impact isn't driven by like one sole organizations. It's not like United Nations is definitely not a panacea for all world issues. And I believe in this there are so many different stakeholders needed and essential to solve the development challenges. And that's how, like, as an example, through Impact Collective or Youth Collab initiative, that's how we are trying to do so. So yeah.
Right, thank you so much. So, leaving no one behind, driving systemic change, bringing together collective intelligence. All these points sound amazing. I think it's just really important for us to come together more than ever to solve these issues. Now, coming into we're based in Korea. This is Seoul Startups, and all of you have had experience working in Korea. I imagine you've also had worked with perhaps institutions abroad, have worked very closely or research. How is Korea doing so far in the impact scene? Of course, the startup scene has been growing quite fast over the last few years. How is impact following along? Are there any insights or comments with what's going well so far in Korea or not? Feel free to share some of those insights. Anna, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, sure. I think Korea's impact ecosystem is very unique, and then actually it's very active and vigorous, I would say. And because of since 2010, actually in Korea, the social economy has rapidly grown up since then. So there was a law and legislation for social enterprises, and also there were different support system for social enterprises has been established since then. And so here again, since then there were social venture valley was established. Also in Bulgang area, there's a Seoul Innovation Park has been set up, and all the different areas, all the different civil societies and government has driven this change and this transformation in social economy and also in the impact ecosystem. So I believe that the social economy and then impact ecosystem is not a two separate word. It's actually intertwined, and also the private sector and public sector are all together. They put their efforts into building this ecosystem. So there are a lot of different players that are coming in, and also these days corporations even they are strongly wants to work it and collaborate with different social sector organizations, and this is really great and huge change these days. And also as you can see, and impact investment has grown up rapidly. So in the past 3 years, social investing, like ESG investing, environmental social governance investing, and impact investing is rapidly increasing. And also by the end of 2020, the accumulated amount of impact fund in Korea was more than 500 million US dollars. And every year there are 700 US dollars available for social impact organizations, including grants and including investment opportunities, but which is really great. And I believe the impact startups will have and also impact organization will obtain more and more opportunity to further develop their projects and also advance their business funded by different investors, I think. And also as I mentioned earlier, so these days, since as a MISC, we are working and collaborating with different corporations for their open innovation program. So particularly, they're interested in working with impact startups. And for example, SK Innovation, one of the biggest conglomerates in Korea, it's an energy company, and they are very interested in collaborating with startups for tackling the climate related issues. And then they actually, in 2019, they selected 4 impact startups for tackling the environmental challenges. And they actually, these social ventures pitched their business among the employees in SK Innovation. And then through, what is platform and crowdfunding platform, these employees, and they actually invested in these different companies, and they put their own money, and even afterwards SK Innovation itself decided to invest in some of those enterprises, and it happens quite a lot. And then and even KT groups, and I cannot name all of these different organizations, but big corporations who are wants to integrate the social impact into their business. The first approach is that they actually decide to work with and collaborate with these impact startups. So I think I believe that impact startups will have much more opportunities, from now on. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for all of those insights. Sounds like we're in a green boom also in Korea. You mentioned social enterprise support systems, institutions like Venture Valley, Seoul Innovation Park. How MISC is also contributing through their initiatives, and now is the time for more social impact to happen with more startups collaborating. And yeah, 500 accumulative investment fund of $500 million. That's quite a lot. So anyone here in the audience who's part of that ecosystem, do take that chance. Yunel, would you have anything to add about what's happening? You might be mute.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Yeah. Well, in Korea, it's a little bit unique and interesting, because a lot of like impact investment or impact activities are driven by the government. So the public side is, the moving power of the whole private sector. So that is why big names of the conglomerates in the corporate side is moving into ESG right now. So the ESG is currently quite a well-known term for the private sector and the financial sector. But well, at a daily level, I think still the concept of the impact and also the impact-driven movement is a bit starting point. So the consumers and the millennials and Gen Z, they're aware of some of the environmental impact and social impact, but it's very basic, kind of like a level to start up. So compared to other, markets like US and Europe, I think Korea is a bit behind, but very quickly catching it up. So, that's one of the good points of the Korean people's character. So like moving forward really quickly and learn fast and like adopt everything at a very, very advanced level. So yeah, I think we will soon have our own type of impact activities, both in public and private sector. So that is why it is really important to act forward for the startup entrepreneurs, so that their voices can be mixed in and listened to the right authorities.
Great, thank you, Anil. So it seems that in Korea, there's a lot more connection between government and the private sector. You mentioned ESGs. It's quite a term to know. It's not like the US or Europe, but Korea can catch up at an advanced level. So probably something to keep in mind moving forward. Amy, would you have anything to add as well about Korea?
Sure. So yeah, just as all the important things were already covered, I would like to add that since our center like aims to share like Korea's very own knowledge with other parts of the world, especially on accelerating the SDGs. We could spot a lot of discussions around social impact growing. So this like buzzword ESG and social impact, social innovation, all these related terms, they are sort of the mainstreaming these days. And I think, for example, Seoul metropolitan government is really keen on really advancing these social innovation, and I could see a lot of interest coming from other developing countries, including Thailand and Vietnam. As last September, we actually co-hosted this webinar series called Impact Venture Dialogue, which introduced some of the Korean social ventures like Enuma and Amuse Travel on how they are coping with this COVID-19 situation, and how and their opinions on what kind of support this impact-driven startups would need post-COVID. So I could see there, I could definitely see a lot of discussions and the social around social impact really becoming more mainstream. And at the same time, I also think that now that there are more and more social entrepreneurs or youth-led startups who are really interested in solving these social challenges, I believe it's also important to help them sustain their innovation or solution, because there's this term called death valley, so they it's really hard for especially early stage startups to actually try to amplify their impact in the long run, right? And I think it's really important to enable them to scale up their solutions, if they could actually leverage their innovation to apply it for solving developing countries problems, for example. It's going to be really, really awesome. And so in this sense, I think it's really important to also try to implement some standards on measuring the impact, I guess, measuring and monitoring the impact. And there are actually a lot of metrics that are available and a lot of guidelines. And I'm also really keen on doing the research on that, and how actually Korea could apply or develop certain impact measurement or standards so that it could be even more mainstreamed. So yeah, and to add one more thing, so as I already said that UNDP is really keen on supporting the scale up of youth-led innovation for the SDGs, and we are trying to do this also by connecting the networks at both national and regional level. So as we work really closely with the ventures and MISC and other impact players, we also would like to connect with our country offices in Asia Pacific, for example, and try to introduce and showcase certain impact driven by a Korean player. So I guess we'll have more time to discuss on that. So I guess that's it for now. Yeah.
Great, excellent. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, don't forget, everyone, after this main session, we'll be spread out into the table, so please feel free to join at any moment one of the speakers' tables. There's so much to cover in so little time, but thank you for covering much more about what the Seoul Metropolitan Government has been doing. And I love the Death Valley analogy, making Korea perhaps a great model to adapt to other nations. I think that's really empowering. Let's jump right into, so we covered a little bit about impact investing. And we probably have a few startup founders within the audience right now. How can they start taking more initiative of joining some of these programs? Yeah, are there any examples of startups that have gone through some of these programs that you mentioned and they've come out with some success stories to share?
Vinyan, do you want to start first this time?
I guess so.
Is it great to introduce Impact Collective, I guess?
Yeah, well, yes. Well, through Impact Collective, we've discovered over 80 different teams in mostly in Asia and the Pacific area, and through that program, we've discovered really like interesting teams, like startups from Bangladesh or startups from Pakistan and startups who are solving a multinational problem, with decentralized organization structure, or the startups who pivoted from the brown lens business model into the green lens, and like things like that. So one of the example that I can take is the Pakistan-based female doctor-led startup, which actually create this doctor-patient community, and this is more like a telemedical service area. And because of their cultural background, it's really hard for female patients to visit female doctors, or even like visit the general clinic. So they thought that connecting the two missing pieces will be a great impact-making solution to the society. And now it is recognized by the Pakistan government and the Ministry of Startup and Small and Medium Businesses. So like they're actually growing really fast, and they're getting a lot of international level of the insights and knowledges through the Impact Collective and other international network that they have through their international investors and the think tank that they have. So this kind of collective movement is really a kind of like a great success story that we really want to build. So even they're in a far different world or far different countries, with this kind of like a shared insight and shared knowledges, a great innovative solution can come out, and also it give out the impact to the world, like as a the result of the efforts of the whole group of people. So yes, and other other story. One other story from Korean team is that we actually invested in this alternative credit scoring solution company. So they're actually providing the underbanked or low credit scored people to get fairer credit scores, so that they can access to the wider level of financial solutions. And even in Korea, a lot of people are actually under credit and underbanked, especially for the 20s or late teenage people who lacks the financial record. So they're actually creating this alternative solutions for to evaluate and accurately give out the credit score system. And that's also a good example to expand the Korean standard to the wider emerging Asian market as well. So they're currently piloting with Southeast Asian market, because their the financial infrastructure is very early stage. So some of the nations, they do not have any traditional credit system at all. So there's no credit scoring model, and there's no kind of accessible credit financing services for the daily level of people. So yeah, this kind of like a technical solution can be a good way to realize the democratize it and inclusive financial services accessible to the people who really need that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I came across the Pakistani startup, and it's really hard to not have a tear. It's really moving and touching. Do check the comments, because both startups that have been referenced are there for anyone who wants to check out more. We've got, give or take, 5 minutes, but if anyone else wanted to jump in.
Oh yeah, I'll just try to be short. Okay, so as a startup, if you're looking for funding from impact investors, I think there are a critical difference from between like impact investor and conventional investor. I think so. Impact investor, definitely they will require to present your social mission. So they will keep asking what your social mission is, and then whether they will keep checking whether you define your social problem properly. And also they will keep asking what is your impact KPI, and together with financial performance. And that's really key for them. So I think every impact investor, I mean, pretty much, very much interested in knowing what your mission is. I mean, that's the very key points here, I would say. And also in Korea, there are different impact investors, and they have all different characteristics and philosophy. So I will recommend you that check their website or their portfolio, and whether they already invested in a similar business to you, or what are their how they formulate their fund. Are they operating their fund with their own capital, or are they mobilizing their capital from different investors? I mean, that's a really important thing you need to check again. And also, again, India mentioned, if you are really engaged with different impact investors, I would recommend you to first participate in the impact accelerating program that these impact investors are running. So Impact Collective could be one, and SOPO and Jisopung, they're running different batches of their programs. And even MISC, we are running our own different impact accelerating programs. So through these different programs, we are actually identifying our potential investees. So I would like to strongly recommend you to dig deeper this impact ecosystem, and then research about the impact investors, and hopefully you can get to know more about investors and then this scene again. Yeah, so that's it for me. I love really introduce about our investees and portfolio, but I'm just mindful of time. I'll just share it during my individual table.
Yeah, so one of the other tip that I'd like to add on is that if you're not that 100% sure about the impact that you'd like to deliver, then it will be really good to discuss with your potential investors or with your potential partners, so that you can. We call this kind of like a impact conversion. So we see that a lot of like startup entrepreneurs or startup participants, they sometimes they're too focused on their current business model or the current performance KPIs. So they're missing some of the lenses that I mean, they're doing a really good impact making business, but they do not realize what they're doing. So and also that kind of like a knowledge gap is also giving you some of the gap of the deliverables that you have to actually show your investor, or you have to prove your investor. So especially for the impact investors, that as Anna said, this impact lens is really important, and this is kind of like a impact thesis that they have. So they have to prove that your business model is the core business model, or the pure, the most important focus of your business is fundamentally makes a positive impact to the world in some type of the method that you deliver to the market. So for that, not a single answer is a best. So you can just consult with a lot of different people and a lot of different methodologies and different approaches, so that you can choose the best one that that tells your own story, and that tells the great benefits of the business. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yunel. So make sure your business model is, as you're saying, it has a mission and it's making positive impact. So Amy, I don't want to leave you hanging in this. Let's I'd love to hear your words.
Sure. Echoing Anna's and Uni's great advices, I think definitely what could help your impact grow more would be trying to expose yourself to this impact related programs, I would say. So definitely start with, even if you are just just having some ideas on starting a business, a social business, then I think it's still okay to try to listen in some policy dialogues, or some community, joining a community like Impact Collective. There's a huge platform online where you see all these conversations going back and forth about this amazing impact that the startups are creating. So I think it's like a really important step first. And also for UNDP, from what we provide, there are actually a lot of helpful modules for free online for you to actually try to have your that would actually walk you through some of the the impact measurement processes, or some alignment on aligning with more SDGs. So for example, UNDP runs a program called Business Call to Action Initiative, and there under that initiative they have a website called Impact Lab, where it's like a library of impact case studies of from really big corporations to small and medium-sized companies. And you could actually explore how certain business models are trying to create some positive impact in, for example, like a supply chain, or how certain types of business models are really working well for the bottom billion, for example. So from this youth collab initiative that I myself is engaged in, we also have this some online modules, so that you could just sign up and then listen to some mentors, and how they are trying to give you some ideas on strategizing some of this, creating more impact, and so on. So yeah, I guess that's what I could add. Try to expose yourself to more impact related discussions. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy. And yeah, more discussions after the session. We would really be wrapping up. We'd usually be wrapping up now, but we just noticed we just had one question from the audience just come in. Might as well just jump in. Hello, my name is Q Cho. This question might be long. Creating a social impact startup cannot necessarily be profitable in the beginning phase of operation. So how long does an investor typically give time to see profits from one of these impact startups?
Well, Well, to start with, well, actually, the ventures is from a very, very traditional venture capital play, so we are more like a very, a private market focused impact investor. So we're not kind of like, uh, taking this kind of like lens that social impact making businesses are usually under profitable or really hard to be profit. But we think that profitable business can make longer impact and better impact at the end, because they can survive and they can themselves, the business itself is sustainable. So, well, definitely, investor point of view, we are not philanthropy capital, so we do look for the startups have quick or really great business impact as well. So the duration or the cushion time actually depends on the nature of the capital, I think. So the investors like us, we give out like 1 to 3 years of the period, so the startup can be fully cooked and worked. But it's not kind of like every size fits all. So for a certain startups, we look for the longer time of preparation period for the working level. And for certain startups, we seek a direct business impact first from day one. So it depends on the business model of yours. And mostly the projection at a very, very early stage startups, we do not calculate it very seriously into the decision making of investment activity, because we know that there are a lot of variables in the market, and that kind of like variables are not usually, it's really hard to control, especially for the early stage teams. So the projection is very limited. And rather than the numbers projected, we do evaluate the potential of the business and the potential of the reachable market and the potential of the solution approaches. So that can be a kind of like a dominant solution for a certain market or a certain type of problem.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Iniel, because typical impact investor, they do not think that the creating social impact and then creating financial return is two separate ones. So basically, they keep asking that how you're gonna make a synergy between like social impact and your business. So I believe these potential investors need to convince them their business is profitable. I mean, and at the early stage, they will agree on that you're not, making a profit, or not. But still, they'll keep asking, whether this business is profitable in the end. So you need to keep in mind that you need to make a synergy between like social impact and then creating financial impact as well. So, and if you're looking for impact first investor, that's again another available option. So there's a different spectrums, even in the impact investment. So if you are looking for impact first investors, you can get a funding from like philanthropy, organizations, or some of the impact investors, who are put impact first, before the financial return. So if you also you can check the other impact investors who are fit for your business and approach.
So thank you so much. I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much, Anna, Amy, for joining us. Honestly, this could go on forever. I could sit here all day in Jeju, but alas, we do have to go to tables. I'm sure so many eager members are willing to talk with you. Actually, funny enough, speaking of coincidence, Kayla, our community leader, shared it today is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Woo! and Innovation Day. So what a great time for us to get together. Yeah. Thank you once again. Thank you for your insights. We'll be posting this onto YouTube, and we'll be sending out an email covering all the timestamps and what we've gone over. My mind is flying with ideas, and I'm on a remote island in Jeju. Gonna see what I can do with impact here. But thank you once again. I'm gonna invite Marta to the stage as well to say anything. Marta, I know you're hiding somewhere.
Hi, everyone. So like I mentioned in the chat, we are ending the session here, but we're not saying goodbye. Our speakers will be joining their designated tables in the lounge room. So once we're done here, go and find them, ask them questions, have a little bit of an intimate conversation with them. Seoul Startups team will be also sitting around. So if you want to chat with us, we would love to hear from you as well. And yeah, enjoy, network, talk to each other. This is a really good opportunity to do so. Even though we're online, we will not give up on connecting with other people. So thank you so much for today. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Thank you, Christian, for awesome moderation. And I will see you all in a few seconds. Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you in the lobby.